this is now the intro to the episode. You're gonna tell me.
Sounds good.
You're gonna tell me every Pokemon you know.
Okay. Here we go. You got Pikachu.
You got Pikachu.
You got Squirtle.
Squirtle, nice.
You got Gigazord. No,
Nope.
That's not it. Charizard.
There it is.
You got
Gigazord.
You got the small Pikachu.
What's his name?
Pikmin.
Nope.
No, I'm just naming all of the ones in Smash Brothers.
Oh, that's smart.
Okay.
Come on.
Pikachu, Squirtle, Charizard.
You're forgetting one from Pokemon Trainer.
Yeah. Leaflet. No.
Nope.
That's not it. I don't know. Those are the four
Ivysaur.
that I know. Oh, I wouldn't have gotten that in a million years. Pichu.
Pichu, yes, there you go.
Pikachu.
4.
There's the one that looks like a robot. There's the one that looks like a clown. There's
Yes.
the one that Mewtwo.
Mewtwo, nice. Okay.
Incineroar.
There it is. Nice.
Anybody else in Smash?
Yeah.
There is.
There's
Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff, there you go. There's still another one. And I mean there's like a ton with the trophies and the Pokeball items, but we don't play with items.
Yeah, we don't play with items. Man, I need you to come visit, or I'll visit you, and we'll play Smash because I don't have a Switch game.
Yeah, my fingers look
I think that's
crazy
it. I think
right now.
They do.
What the heck?
Wild right now.
Okay, so
That's
what,
all
you
the
got-
Pokemon
you
I
got
know, guys.
7. You missed Mr. Mime. You said a Pokemon
the
that
guy
looks
that
like a
looks like-
mime, and then Lucario
Lucario
is also there.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
so
tongue guy.
we'll say. Oh yeah, Lickitung. Okay, so that's 9. You missed 916.
Well, yeah, there's a lot. And I didn't even know the main character's name until
That was
mere seconds ago.
Mere.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
you're doing the intro.
Well, that was the intro,
Oh.
right?
Welcome.
But welcome to Quarter Twins, everybody. How many Pokemon can you name? Put it down in the comments
Whoa,
below.
Name every single Pokemon in the comments, and I'll check
somebody
to see if you're right.
Copy and paste a list in the comments. We're here together. This is Quarter Twins, the only podcast where 2 quarters make $1. We are related by blood.
By blood.
And we are 25%, 100% exactly the same.
Whoa.
Which, in simpler terms, we're cousins.
Yep.
If
cousins
you
of
went this whole,
identical twins.
Yeah, this is episode 29, right? It's 29
That's accurate.
episodes. We're getting back into the rhythm of doing this every week, so it feels like we're doing a lot. And it's good. This is episode 29, and we're gonna hit 30 next week. We're gonna do something super special.
Are we?
Not really. We're gonna do. We'll talk about that at the end of the episode, as we always do.
snap.
But because we have an episode to do today, which we haven't done yet, which we're doing right now, which we're starting. So, this is Quarter Twins. We're talking about a movie and its sequel. The movie is Blade Runner.
Blade
And its
Runner.
sequel is Blade Runner 2049.
49.
I saw Blade Runner for the first time yesterday, and Joshua likes it, I think.
I'm
So
a big fan.
we're going to talk about those things because we like to elevate content in films that might otherwise go unnoticed by the people in our sphere because...
In our huge sphere.
Our audience consists of our moms, our dads,
Barely.
our siblings,
Maybe.
and sometimes the rest of our cousins, and never our Aunt Shannon. She refuses to listen.
Too long.
And so I don't think anybody besides us.
You have
and
a couple
and
friends
your
that
dad.
listen.
have seen Blade Runner. I do have a few friends that listen. I don't think anybody's seen the first Blade Runner, but we like to talk about the films that flew under the radar. Blade Runner 2049 being one of them. So we're going to get all into that. Before we do that, of course, as always, we're going to have a beautiful segment where our voices talk about Anchor.
Raining in Oregon for like a week. It's awesome.
For eternity.
It's so nice to just open your window and hear it, but you don't have to be wet. It's the best.
I like that.
It's the perfect excuse to continue being in my room every waking moment of my day.
What?
Watching TV and movies.
You don't like to do that. You like to go outside.
The only time I ever go outside is when I'm walking to my car or walking from my car.
Yeah. Guys, Andor episode 10 is out, and it's really good.
Perfect We're gonna talk about segue. Just real smooth right into Andor, guys.
Yes.
Andy Serkis will get an Oscar somehow from this TV show.
Somehow. This show will make the Academy be like, oh, we need to give him an Oscar retroactively from all of the films he's done in the past.
Yeah.
Just like an Oscar for everything. Like we give you
a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Hug, yeah, because you're so good at everything you do.
And Stellan Skarsgård or Bill Skarsgård. Which one?
Oh yeah, it's Stellan.
Stellan, yeah. Amazing.
Bill is Pennywise the clown.
What's her name? Genevieve something. Who plays Genevieve O'Reilly, who plays Mon Mothma as well.
Oof, yeah.
Just a triple threat of fantastic actors.
Who plays Dedra? She's incredible as well.
Dedra.
She's really good. She's very intimidating. For sure. Especially when she's torturing Bix and
portrayed by Denise Gough, maybe? G-O-U-G-H. Gough.
Okay.
She's great.
Yeah. Andor episode 10 wraps up the prison arc type thing. We're going into episodes 11 and 12 in the next couple weeks, which will be the finale. But yeah, I think this
one was the best one.
It is. It's really, really good. I need to watch. I only watched it once. I was tempted to be like, well, that was anticlimactic, because they just kind of like they fight like one batch of guards, and then spoilers, and then they get out really quickly. I guess they just kind of run and then they're out. I was like, oh, well, all right. But the like character work and everything that's happening around that is really good.
Yeah, that all kind of happened in the previous episode, to be fair.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the point of this arc, is like showing that the Empire is, a lot of talk, but when it comes down to it, like in this scenario, they're like way in over their heads, and they're just they think they're so powerful that they can just like imprison hundreds and hundreds of people, and they'll just accept 5,000. It and deal with it because they're so afraid of them. But sometimes they rebel. Rebels rebel. So
as they do.
Luthen has a great monologue at the end. He's talking to the sky, and he's like, I sacrificed everything! You know how much I sacrificed? He has that kind of thing, which is really good. Back to formula.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's really, really good, guys. I think Joshua and I decided we're going to do a video essay. Our first
instead of a second podcast, because I recall us doing an entire podcast on the first 3 episodes of Andor.
Yeah, the first 3.
So maybe instead of doing a whole nother episode dedicated to that, we just do a YouTube video, or I guess we could do like an audio reading of our essay as well. Yep. But just as a separate project, talking about how perfect the show is and how great it is, where we can really go into detail.
Dive
in.
I think more people will watch that probably than listen to another podcast episode about it, where we like write content to talk about and persuade you to watch Andor.
Right.
Because I know you're not, most of you. Okay, I know that
seriously.
you're not.
What the heck?
And I'm upset at you.
More people are watching Star
okay.
Wars Tales of the Jedi, which I haven't even finished, by the way.
I haven't. I'm not an Ahsoka fan. Can I just say that? I don't really care about Ahsoka anymore. I'm fine with her in live action now, but like, do we like more Ahsoka content in animated form? Like, I'm like, they're doing this Count Dooku Qui-Gon Jinn stuff. Great. Do new stuff. I understand that it's new Ahsoka content, but I'm like, guys, it's like we're only getting a Star Wars that's like, it's either The Rise of Skywalker, or it's either Ahsoka animated stuff, or it's either Andor. But can we just get Jedi stuff, like new Jedi content that's cool and Star Warsy, which is what some of Tales of the Jedi is. I want to see more lightsabers, guys. Can I be honest about that?
Ahsoka has 2 lightsabers. I don't really understand your point.
But I've seen her lightsabers before, and that's my point, you know?
Okay.
I've seen them too many times.
I got to disagree with you.
That's
here.
Okay. We can
I watched the first 3 episodes, I think, of Tales of the Jedi, and I agree. The Count Dooku stuff is phenomenal, and the first episode of Tales of the Jedi is about Ahsoka's parents and like the story of them discovering her roots in the Force and stuff like that. And I like it. I think great. I mean, obviously we can complain about the Skywalker saga and being stuck perpetually forever in this 60-year period.
Yes.
When there is so much more Star Wars to give. Sure. And the universe, or the galaxy, I should say, is a whole galaxy with millions of planets, and we're always on Tatooine, you know? I think that's a valid criticism at the very least.
Yeah.
But people love Ahsoka, and she's relatively new to the story, and her story hasn't fully been fleshed out, right? So I think it's valid to explore her time.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
I mean, that's cool with me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But
no, I think that's true. And they are making like did you see they're making that, it's called The Acolyte. They announced the cast, and it started filming and stuff. And that's High Republic era story, which is hype. Which will be cool. Which is hype. Yeah. So I'm excited for that, but yeah.
Star Wars Visions is coming with the 2nd season. Spoiler alert. Studio Ghibli is looking like they're going to be dropping an episode. Yeah. Hopefully a movie.
Do a
awesome.
feature movie.
That would be so sick.
I would love that.
If anyone out there is looking for Star Wars content that is random, full of lightsabers, and not at all contained to the Skywalker saga universe, simply just in the Star Wars universe, Star Wars Visions is 9 episodes of just one-off stories, 20 minutes long, showing you different times, different eras, different locations. Amazing stuff. It's actually, like, I look back on it, I watched a couple episodes last week, just like, it really, I cannot stress enough how awesome the Star Wars universe can be. All of the potential is brimming. Okay, there's an episode called Lop and Oko, I think. Oko Ocho. I don't remember. And it's just like this random planet occupied, and whatever. It's occupied by the Empire. Not, against my point about being outside of the universe, but whatever.
Sure.
And it's like the story about this alien and her sister, and she gets taken in by this family, and they make a deal with the Empire, and she's against the deal, and domestic problems ensue, and there's like, it's all about this fight for this one planet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like cool street stall shop areas, and you get to see this planet flourish, and in 20 minutes you have this entire world that you're fully engaged in, and it's completely separate from everything else. The only same part is like a couple stormtroopers in the background, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy for the Star Wars world to be like, hey, check this thing out. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like fully into it immediately. And it sucks me in. And I love that so much. And I don't find that in a lot of other things. And I agree that we need to explore more of the universe, because it just has this huge amount of untapped potential.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that. Yeah, that they are like putting out things like Tales of the Jedi and Andor at the same time, and like we can have both. Because they are filling that kind of, like, Andor is, like we've talked about before, like Andor is kind of, it is Star Wars, but it could also be like anything else. Because it doesn't, at least that's my opinion, is that it doesn't have since it doesn't have Jedi or the Force like weaved throughout it or woven throughout it, that it doesn't have to be Star Wars, because I think like those things are what make Star Wars. Like the wholly unique things that George Lucas put into the world.
Sure.
Anyway, I like that we can have, like, it doesn't have to be all lightsabers all the time. It can be gritty stuff too,
Gritty.
Freaking watch Andor.
Freaking watch
I
it.
will scream. Yeah.
Or Jordan
It's the best thing.
It's the best thing on
Disney
TV.
Plus.
It's the best thing of
on
2022.
TV. It's so good.
And
it gets better every week.
And like, social media is buzzing about it, but only people who are watching it.
Yeah, only
everyone who is watching it is loving it, but no one is watching it. And it's a tragedy and a travesty. A travesty.
Okay. A
travesty. And it's really sad, honestly. So.
Yeah. Once it's all over, everybody needs to binge it. I'm excited for it to be over so that I can immediately start from the beginning and watch it all at once.
I think that is part of it too, is like people don't like to wait week over week because you forget the names of characters, or like what the heck Cyril is up to every week.
Yeah. I hope they're really like drawing out his storyline. So I hope he does something cool in these last 2 episodes, which I'm sure he will. But
yeah. Hopefully.
I'm excited. Yeah, so we should talk about Blade Runner.
Yeah, let's get into Blade Runner, guys. Welcome to the main topic today. We're going to be talking about Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. And I thought that I could spoil both movies in their entirety from memory as best as possible here for you guys.
Sounds good.
So I'm just going to literally run through the plot of these 2 movies as fast as I possibly can from memory, and we'll just see how it goes, okay? And you feel free to chime in when I get something wrong, okay?
Sounds good.
So here we go. The year is 2019, which is in the past now, so it's really funny to look at this movie and see the futuristic vision that they had for our world that we just... I would like to say that it's better than their vision.
I would say, for sure.
Yeah, so we're in L.A., I believe, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Rick Deckard is a Blade Runner. Blade Runners kill replicants. What are replicants? Replicants are human robot looking things designed for slave labor and colonization and military force. Basically, they're slaves, and they have a 4-year lifespan, and they don't really have sentience. Most of them.
This particular model of replicant only has 4 years.
Right. The Nexus 6.
At the time of the first movie, the Nexus 6.
Mm-hmm. And so at this time, because of revolts and unrest, the lifespan has been reduced to 4 years so that they don't ever get to a point where they are like emotionally stable, then that they can think. And so there's a group of 6, I think. 2 of them die before the movie starts. So it's a group of 6 replicants that break out of a colony and return to Earth in an attempt to learn the secrets of their lifespan and also end their end date so that they can continue to live as real people, real boys.
Real boys.
And so 2 of them die before the movie starts. There's 4 left. And they are on the run trying to hide because they failed their initial mission. Now they're gonna try to figure out a different way to get in. And Rick Deckard, our main character of the movie, he comes in. Harrison Ford, yes. What a heartthrob.
He looks great.
He does. He's youthful. He's vibrant. He's great.
Not so much anymore. Dinosaur, that guy.
Whoa. Okay. Rude.
Still Indiana Jones, though.
Wasn't he a president in some movie at one point?
Yeah, he was in Air Force One, yeah.
Hype.
That's a good movie if you haven't seen it.
I don't think I have.
You should watch
Maybe
it.
I've seen
Gary
the ending.
Oldman. Gary Oldman plays a very angry Russian man. And the president's on Air Force One, and this group of Russians led by Gary Oldman hijack the plane and are like, "Do what we want, Mr. President," and he has to take them down from inside the airplane because they're in the air, and it's cool.
Does the whole movie take place in a plane?
Yes,
That's dope.
it is dope. And you think are planes this big? No, but it works for the movie.
For this movie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Air Force One is probably that big, I guess.
It's a pretty big
Anyway,
plane.
back to Blade Runner.
So Rick Deckard is a retired Blade Runner, and he is kind of forced into this one last job, and he's going to take out these replicants. And so he starts investigating, and he starts killing some of the replicants, and he meets Rachel, who is a replicant that doesn't know she's a replicant, and she's a new model that Tyrell, the owner of the replicant business, is like, we've implanted memories to trick her into thinking she's real, so she will be easier to control. And this sets up the future of the replicant, future generations of the replicants, which is exciting for the second movie. Integral to the second movie, I would say. And so Deckard meets Rachel, and they kind of have a thing, maybe. And Deckard continues to kill replicants. He's on a warpath. He's taken 2 of them out. And meanwhile, these 2 bad replicants, Roy and Pris, are the 2 that remain.
Which he meets Rachel, and he's like, this girl's a replicant, but she doesn't know it.
Yes, he understands that she is what she is.
Yeah.
And Roy, played by Rutger Hauer, for those who know who that is. He's also a accomplished actor over the years. He's in a Marvel film, I'm sure.
Oh. I don't know about that.
Look into it for me. play like a World Security Council person or something. I don't know.
Live fact checking.
He is like, he's going to die in a couple days, kind of like he knows his body is starting to deteriorate and he's becoming desperate to save himself from an assigned death day, which is quite sad if you think about it.
Yeah.
And so he and the last replicant Pris go and find a guy named J.F. Sebastian who creates designs the mind. I think he helps design parts of the replicant. Mm-hmm. And he is like, he has some hormone issue that prevented him from leaving Earth, which he wanted to do. Because Earth sucks, by the way, and like anyone who has money doesn't live on gross. Earth anymore. And they live off-world.
It's like science fiction Gotham City.
Right. It's cyberpunk.
But even worse.
Yeah. And so he couldn't get off-world, so he just lives in this the Bradbury Hotel, which I believe is a real hotel in L.A. And it's like no one else lives there. It's like raining. There's like water pouring in through the ceiling and stuff. And it's just sad. And he lives with a bunch of toys he made, and it's really depressing and scary in this house full of mannequins and stuff. And they trick him into taking them to Tyrell so that Roy can be saved by the time before he dies, right? He wants to be undone, basically. It doesn't work out, and he kills Tyrell. Bummer.
Yep.
Then the grand finale of the first movie, Deckard finds the Bradbury Hotel. He kills Pris. Roy comes back, and he's like, what the heck? You killed my friend. He goes on a shirtless rampage through the house, starts howling like a wolf.
Yeah, he does.
And Deckard... Roy punches his hand through the wall and breaks Deckard's fingers, and then gives him his gun back for some reason. And
strange thing to do.
They have a long fight, and a lot of words are shared, mostly from Roy. Just kind of talks to him throughout the whole fight.
In between howling.
Yeah, in between howls. And he's just like, you suck, you're human and you suck. But also, like... I'm so much better, and yet I'm going to die, and it's a bummer for me. And long story short, they get on the roof, and it's raining, and it's wet, and Deckard's trying to climb up this thing and jump across, and he doesn't quite make it from one building to the next, and he's like holding on for dear life on this metal beam, and Roy stands up, he jumps across the building, he gets to the other side, he stands up, he has a dove in his hand, and he's like, you suck, I'm a human. And he's like, I'm about to die, and I have one final act. And I know I'm going to die. It's not going to work out for me. And he sees Deckard about to die. He starts to fall off, and he saves him. Right? And during the fight, you can see Roy's like doing this with his hand. It's like one of the signs that he's dying. He's like... slowly
clenching his fist.
Yeah, like rigor mortis kind of a thing going on. He stabs his hand with a rusty nail, which is disgusting, and it like punctures through his hand, and he's like, sometimes I let matches burn down to my fingers just so I can feel something, anything, you know. And he's like back, that sort of you know, and so he saves Deckard with the hand he pierced with the nail, like straight up Jesus, and he lifts him up by one hand and he sets him down on the ground, and he's like, look, man, I have seen and this is where Blade Runner gets really good for me, right here at the literal end.
Favorite thing.
Literally at the end, the monologue of all time. I cry for this monologue. It's so beautiful. He's like,
Could you say it? Could you say the whole thing?
No. Maybe.
Okay. So good.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. And he's like, I've seen
sea beams,
glitter in the across the Tannhauser Gate.
In the,
I've seen it's like star battles off the shoulder of Orion or something. He's talking about all the beautiful and amazing experiences that humans on Earth have never gotten to experience, and how he got to experience all these amazing, amazing things, and yet he's about to die, and he can't share those memories with anyone because he's about to die, and it's sad. And he talks about, in a beautiful metaphor, because it's been raining the entire time, the whole movie, right?
Yeah, the entire movie.
And he's like, all these moments that I've lived will be
die with me, basically.
Yeah. They will go unseen, like tears in rain. A beautiful, poetic, powerful metaphor. Yes. And then he dies. He's like, time to die. And he just kind of...
And then he goes...
Yeah, he's like... Beer. And he lets go of the dove, and his soul flies away through the dove. Reincarnation or something. I don't know what there's a metaphor there I'm not seeing. Yeah. But it's just like here, like the whole movie is about these villainous, evil robots that just want to live forever so they can kill all humans or something. But then at the end, we come to realize they just want to live because they've seen the world. And they're excited about it, and they want to experience more of it. And here they are with a death day predetermined as soon as they're born.
It's like they experience everything humans experience. So they, it's like, why can't I live? Why don't I get to live? Mm-hmm. Because I've even seen things that you haven't seen, human.
Yeah.
Like, what makes...
your life more valuable than mine.
Yeah, why am I sentenced to this death day? And, symbolism. Mm-hmm. We treat people like robots sometimes, Forget that they have real life experiences and emotions and that sort of thing.
And autonomy.
So that's filmmaking right there.
It's beautiful. Ridley Scott directed the first one.
Yeah. You skipped the part where... Harrison Ford sexually assaults Rachel and forces her to have sex with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely...
That does happen, and it's not good.
Yeah. It's definitely dated in a few ways.
But it's Harrison Ford is so hot. He's so controlling. That's like... Yeah. Maybe? I don't know. It's not great, guys.
I don't know. It's not good. It's not good.
But they fall in love, and they run away together at the end, because eventually everyone finds out that Rachel is a replicant, and they want to kill her too, because replicants are illegal on Earth. Yeah. And so they want to kill her, and then Harrison Ford and Rachel run away together. Now, Blade Runner 2049.
Credits. Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049, Ryan Gosling shows up.
20 years later, or however many
30 years later, from 2019 to 2049.
I mean, like, release date of the actual movie.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Probably.
I don't know.
What, it came out in 2018?
Did it? Yeah, I think so.
Denis Villeneuve, Roger Deakins come in, and they're like, what's up, guys? We're so much better than these guys. We're going to make this movie good, and it's going to look good.
That's right.
And so Ryan Gosling shows up. He's like, what's up? My name is K, the letter K. I'm a Blade Runner, and I'm a replicant. And it's obvious that I am.
What?
Whereas Deckard may or may not be a replicant. It depends on which cut of the film you watch. Yeah. There's also
jury's still out on that.
It depends. It sounds like some people have confirmed it. I think he is a replicant, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Actually, it does. We're going to talk about it after this. And so... Kay is a replicant, and he knows it, and he has memories from the past that he knows are fake memories, but he also knows that they are his memories or something, and he knows exactly what their purpose is.
Yeah.
To keep him docile.
Until he gets confused.
Yes,
about
which
that.
is yeah. And so
which you'll get to.
Yeah. And so he goes to kill Dave Bautista, who's a replicant from back in the day, and he's like, "You've never seen a miracle." And we find a date on a tree, and they unbox this grave underneath. It's They have a name for it. It's like a box of bones. Has a specific name. I don't remember what they call it.
I don't remember.
And they take out the bones, and it's Rachel from the first movie. And based on the way her hips are like kind of broken, they determine that she died in childbirth, which is impossible because she's a replicant, right?
What?
Well, now Wallace finds out. Wallace is the new Tyrell. He's a new guy. He comes in. He's played by Jared Leto, who this is
Everybody's
his best,
favorite guy.
his best and only good role, where he gets to be a complete psychopath, driven for power.
He's
which
so
is
good at it.
He's the perfect role for him, and he's like blind, but he can see through these robot rock things that float around him that make cute little clicking noises. And he's like, "Whoa, a replicant got prego. Now I don't have to make them all individually. I can breed them and make billions of them, right?"
Yep.
He's like, "That sounds dope. Let's get those bones." And he has a replicant named Love who's evil, and she's like crazy. She's like, "I'm the best replicant," and I believe it. And I know I'm the best because I'm Love. And
She has a really bad haircut.
she's a really great haircut, and an even better jawline. And Kay is going. He's like killing these guys, and
He's doing the same Blade Runner task of, because replicants are still illegal on Earth, correct? No, it's not that. It's that he's killing off the old models.
Yeah, he's killing all the
he's
old
new
models.
and improved.
Yeah.
He's killing the old Nexus
6s
models.
and 7s,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah.
And what the heck happens next? He's like,
So yeah, Wallace is like, you got to get these bones so that we can figure out how this happened, and so that we can. He doesn't want to use that. He wants to destroy all evidence of that happening, because he knows that if replicants find out that they can have children, that they will then, have the evidence they need to be like, oh, so we are human and we can defy our masters, right?
right.
So he wants to
Something
destroy
that's born
the
that has a
evidence.
soul, right? Is the idea.
Yes.
So I think Wallace he wants to crack the code that.
Yeah.
'Cause
He wants to find out how it happened so that he can make it stop happening forever.
I think he wants it to happen because it would be cheaper, right? Because he's like
I
talking
think
about
he
how he wants a miracle, and he holds that replicant from the womb,
Yeah, and he slices
her womb open.
It's really gnarly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the
Maybe he wants
police
it, maybe he
police want the cover up because they know
Yeah.
that it would be a riot,
That thing.
that it would be a problem. So Kay is tasked with destroying all evidence. He starts investigating, and he starts to see evidence that his memories that he knows are implanted may not be implanted, because he finds a place from his memory that's real. And he's like, well, what the heck? That's illegal to use real memories.
Mm-hmm.
But he finds a little toy horse in this orphanage where real people are born. And he finds this little toy horse hidden exactly where his memory said that it would be hidden, which proves that it's real. And he's like, well, what the heck? I'm the child that was born from Rachel's robot
Because on
womb.
the toy horse, it has his birthday on it.
Right.
Because his father made it for him on his birthday. And that same date is on the tree that he found earlier. So he's like, whoa.
The birthday is her death day.
connection, the birthday or death date, but it's my birthday maybe. Mm-hmm. And he's like, if that's true, then that means I'm
the baby.
this like Messiah child.
Right.
Whatever.
And so now he's starting to think like, well, shoot, maybe, exactly what we don't want to happen should happen because I'm it. And I'm proof and hope and blah, blah, blah. And so
I don't want to die.
He doesn't want to die. And cells between cells. And he's like, he's continuing to investigate. He goes to Las Vegas, which is like ground zero for a nuclear bomb or something, because everything is orange and dry and radiated. And he finds Deckard there. And Harrison Ford is old, and there's a bunch of trip mines, and they punch each other during an Elvis song. And then they kind of sit and have a chat about Rachel and the plan. And Deckard was like, my job was to leave. And
Yep.
he hides away, and he's playing Harrison Ford, not Deckard. And
Yeah.
he's just grumbly, and he has a big husky puppy. And Love, the robot who thinks she's the best one, goes out there, and she's like, hey, what's up? You guys suck, and we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
And then they take him away, and Kay,
'Cause they're like, Harrison Ford, do you know what happened?
we're going to torture you and kill you.
Yeah, can you get us to do this again? Can you have sex
That's
with
true.
this
They
new
do
Rachel?
They do try to seduce him with a young new Rachel, but they forget what color eyes she had.
Yeah.
And
Her eyes were green.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which sounds like that was the only thing that prevented him from going through with it, which is kind of weird, maybe.
Yeah. Who knows?
And so he's like, no, and then they're like, we will get you to do this.
Yeah.
And
we have torture instruments off-world.
so they're
we're
going to take him in the taxi cab to another planet. And Kay's like, I got a car. I'm going to fly out there and shoot your car down. Yeah. And then they land.
Well, so before that happens, an important thing.
Oh, you're right. There's important things.
Kay goes to the memory factory.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this girl who's in this like isolation chamber, who's in there with a camera thing, and she's the one who makes everyone's memories, manufactures them. And so Kay is there, and he's like, can you look at my memories and tell me if they're real? And so she looks at his memories, and she's like, yeah, these are real. And he says, oh no.
God damn it! Yeah. And it's a great acting moment.
Explosion of... Because an important line is she says, every memory... Oh no. There's a piece of every artist in their work.
Right.
She says. And then so he's like, gosh dang it, I'm real. My memories are real. So I'm gonna go find my dad, and that's why he goes to see Harrison
Okay,
Ford.
yeah.
And he's like, why weren't you my dad? And he's like, I was your dad. I left, and that was good, and whatever. And then, Love comes, and she takes Harrison Ford, and she kicks the crap out of Kay. And Ana de Armas is here the whole time as a hologram girlfriend, and she dies because her projector gets broken.
Sad.
And then, Harrison Ford has been taken. Ryan Gosling's Kay has now been taken by a mysterious group of people, and he wakes up, and this old lady is there, and she's like, I was there when you were born. And I was there when the baby was born. And she was like, and then she's like, it's not you, bro. Like, we hid that child. You thought that it was you. Like, we all wish it was us.
You imagined it was you? She says just like that.
We wish it was us. We wish we were all this miracle child. But we're putting together a rebellion, baby, because we got this kid and whatever. And then that's when he realizes that the girl who makes the memories is the kid that is the magic kid. And then he's like, okay, well, I guess I'll go save Harrison Ford so that he can
meet his
reunite
daughter.
with his daughter. Yeah.
And they have a big brawl on the waves, and he kills Love, which is a metaphor probably somewhere. And he proves that, there's a metaphor in there somewhere. And he kills her and saves Harrison Ford, and then they go to the memory place, and Harrison Ford meets his daughter, and Kay dies on the stairs.
Yep.
And it's sad.
It is sad.
And that is Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah. Because his emotional arc is like, I'm not human, and I'm not this like magical kid, but my life can still mean something. And doesn't that make me human? Doesn't that give me purpose?
Right.
And stuff. So that's the point of the movie, I suppose.
Beautiful.
Because maybe I'm a replicant. Maybe you're a replicant.
Whoa. Do you dream of electric sheep?
No.
Okay.
I dream of normal sheep.
Oh, what about unicorns?
I don't dream about unicorns.
Okay.
Harrison Ford does, though.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So
I don't like the first one.
the truth
I did
comes
not
out.
like it. Yeah, which didn't really surprise me because I didn't really think I was gonna like love it. It's one of those things where like I know on paper that it's really good, and it's like it's supposed to be like a masterpiece or whatever, like a science fiction a milestone,
Cult
which it is
classic.
a science fiction milestone.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and this gives me like, I know like I come on here and I sound really pretentious sometimes. So I'm like, oh, film is better than blah. But I can also be like, guys, I was really bored, and
boring.
it's like it's really boring, and I'm usually the guy who's like, no, it's not boring. You just didn't get it. But like,
You didn't
I feel like
get
I got like I did. I feel like I got the main, like there's a lot of symbolism that I don't have. I've only seen it once, so I don't have it all on lockdown, but like I can be like, this was boring to me, and I don't like the way it looks, and I don't like the way it sounds or feels. I don't like Harrison Ford's character. I don't like any of the characters. It is dated in a lot of ways.
True.
And that's not inherently wrong, but I have a hard time watching older movies in general, and that's a bummer for me sometimes, but also that's just kind of,
That's just how it is.
I am.
That's okay.
This is how it is. Art is
Everyone's
subjective,
entitled to
guys.
their own opinion, right?
Yeah. I really like thematically, it's, it's on par with 2049. Like I like his monologue in the rain is really good, as you said. And if you guys don't remember, Blade Runner 2049 is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's both of our third favorite, as we said.
Yeah, and I hadn't even seen the first one beforehand, and that doesn't. And like, you can shed some light on like
your opinion of.
I guess I need to
2049 in the
watch.
future.
I need to watch 2049 again now. See if I see anything else, but like, I can't really pinpoint anything that I was like, oh, that makes sense or whatever.
Right. Most of the and I'll just talk about it for a second here. Most of the things that are like obvious winks to the first one is that Harrison Ford shows up at all.
Yeah.
When or like everything with Tyrell and Wallace is like Wallace is jealous of Tyrell's genius and ingenuity.
Yeah.
And he wishes that he could create those things. And he knows that Rachel was made for Deckard and in the intent of getting them to fall in love with each other. And so he's trying to figure that out, which is maybe why he has a robot named Love. Blah, blah, blah. And there's a very specific Easter egg-esque moment where in the first movie, Deckard is vetting Rachel, taking the Voight-Kampff test, which is a test designed to see if a person is a replicant or not. And he talks about you're walking through a meadow or something, and you turn your hand over and you see a bee on your arm. What do? Right? And in Blade Runner 2049, there's a scene in Vegas where Ryan Gosling, is walking through this desert, and he finds like 2 crates of bees sitting out in the middle of nowhere, and he turns his hand over, and there's a bee on the back of his hand, and he doesn't kill it, which is something his mother said she would, which I think is interesting that
supposed mother, yeah.
Yeah. Which is like, that's proof that he's not her son, because he didn't kill it and she did, kind of a thing, maybe, right? And so there's like little things like that, and like the world, obviously there's like background stuff from the first movie, whatever. You can see the old police building and the old Tyrell building that are still there in the city landscape of the new movie. a lot of the theme, like music themes, are in from the first movie that carried over.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
It's a lot of loud, droning synth kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think for me, I agree. Obviously, Blade Runner isn't in my top 10 movies. Blade Runner 2049 is. I liked it much more, but...
And that could just be our bias of, like, it's a new movie and we're young, so, like...
There is that,
we didn't
potentially.
We didn't see Blade Runner in the 80s when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But I obviously like 2049 much, much more.
Yeah. I think it's a better movie overall.
Yeah.
And clearly, you don't need to have seen the first one to enjoy it and understand it, which is awesome.
I mean, I will say, like, I did, like, the YouTube video thing. It's like, what the heck is happening right now? What is a replicant? But it does, like, it starts with a...
little text scroll.
In 2019, this happened, and these are replicants, and these are Blade Runners, and here we go. Stuff like that. So,
I think for me, the original movie, I could care less about 90% of it up until the end with Roy versus Deckard in that building. It could just be that last like 20 minutes or whatever.
Sure.
And I think that final battle and like the consequences of it is perfection. I love it so much, and like it really brings the whole, like, this is sci-fi where we ask questions and we use science fiction to talk through those answers and what it means to be human, and it's like a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
And so I like that. The rest of the movie is a bore. I agree. I showed this movie individually to 3 of my roommates over my years in college. 2 of them fell asleep. This is the reality. Blade Runner is boring, right?
Yeah.
Sadly. And the second one isn't
most people
better.
think it is still boring.
Yeah. It has better action. Still, like...
Yeah.
It's like... few and far between.
It's very low action still, yeah.
And but like when it hits, right?
Yeah.
It's very quick and punchy, and then it's over. And then
Plus, I mean, it's just like the cinematography and visuals and everything are just like it's incredible. It's the best visual filmmaking I've ever seen to this day, probably. So that helps.
The way that they can make such a gray movie look so good. Like, everything is gray. The sky, the trees, the ground, the people, everything is gray. And yet it still feels like there's hope
get, like,
in the world.
The neon city type thing. Like, it's very, like, they're not in L.A., are they?
They're still in L.A., yeah.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Because that's
all
the
the
LAPD.
billboards and things. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. Lots of bright lights and everything that give color, and then like you said, he goes to this like orange environment because of a nuclear bomb or everything. So they put like pops of color, but yeah, they make Deakins makes everything beautiful. Yeah. So
his eye,
incredible,
as they say.
I thought it was. I was reading for our game we can play. I was reading a lot of negative reviews, and it made me laugh. How many people wrote 1-star reviews for Blade Runner 2049, and they were like, this movie is so sexist. Like, this movie sucks. Like, they treat women so badly in this movie. Like, how could they do that? Like, gosh. And I just thought it was so funny because, like, yeah, like, that's kind of, like, one of the themes of the movie is, like, this is kind of what art does, guys. Like, it's... this happens in our real world. This is an artistic depiction of like what happens in our real world and what can happen if things like this, like if we get robots and stuff and replicants, like people are going to turn them into, pleasure machines, right? Like because we're sick people, and like it's a critique of that, and that's kind of the like a big theme of the movie. Like it's not the point of the movie, but it's something that like when you think about it. The theme of the movie of like what determines somebody's humanity, and if we perceive someone as less human than me, then that gives me license to do whatever I want to them, and that's like, slavery, like happened in America, and women and that sort of thing also. Like, if I perceive you as less of a human than me, then I can do whatever I want to you, and the movie's like, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we shouldn't do that.
Maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah. So it has. I love all those, like, the thematic themes. Thematic themes.
Nothing like a good thematic theme.
Yeah, exactly. Makes you think about things. Yeah, makes you want to be better, a better person. So, if you're like, I tried watching Blade Runner or Blade Runner 2049 and it's really boring.
Think again.
I understand, but try again and maybe just think about it.
Think about the questions it's asking,
Yes.
Asking of you, asking of society, and
because they are. I mean, Blade Runner 2049 did terrible at the box office. Like, they'll never make another one again. I think they were making a series or something on Amazon Prime, which is cool.
They had like a anime,
and I think it's done well. I think it's done pretty well, home release and streaming and that sort of thing.
Critically adored.
I think it's definitely, like, it's worth talking about because I think more people should watch it. It is, like, rated R, so viewer discretion.
It's rated R.
Yeah. But that's not our job. That's your job. Viewer discretion is advised. Anything else to say? Well, you had some theories of what the heck Blade Runner is about.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about the whole nature of humanity and stuff. So I'll just hit you with the big one. Is Deckard a replicant? This is the question that has is almost as big as the movie itself, in terms of the theories and the cult following of this movie. Is Deckard a replicant? You see in the first movie, not so much in the second one, that there's like this reflection at the back of people's eyes, of replicants' eyes, that you can kind of tell that's like the signifying thing that makes a replicant, or like easy enough to spot from our perspective. And they did it with some fancy light behind the camera. It's a pretty cool idea. It's like literally their eye reflecting through the camera, or something. And in one of the cuts of the film, and there's like a whole, like, there's a director's cut and there's a final cut and a theatrical cut and all these different things that happened. You watch the final cut, which is the Ridley Scott version. There's one with narration. It's a whole thing.
They're all Ridley Scott, but if I'm not mistaken, the theatrical cut, like, the producers forced him to put in a voiceover to, like, explain things to the audience or whatever, or, like, make it more understandable. And then he took that out or something.
Yeah.
Put other things back
in. The final cut is the true version that you should watch. And there's a scene in one of the releases where Deckard's eyes are very clearly reflecting, which could be that this is obvious that he's a replicant. Some of the cuts don't have the unicorn dream, and then the final cut does, which the unicorn dream could be like a fake memory because unicorns don't exist. So this could be proof that he's a replicant. But he also, he has a child with a replicant, so he has vitality one way or the other. Does that prove he's human? Or was he also created by Tyrell and given fake memories that drew him and Rachel together to create the first child? If that was the plan, why not make it just them having sex? Like, they could, like, he could just have done that in his laboratory or whatever. But maybe it required love or something, and he has this whole, like, there's like the pheromones and the hormones and stuff that are required to like love is like the secret ingredient or something, and that's why Wallace can't figure it out because he doesn't know, but he has a robot named Love. It's hitting him in the face. You know, you can go on and on and on. So, what are your thoughts and feelings? Where do you stand? Is Deckard a replicant?
I think, like, for me, I think he probably is, only because thematically it makes more sense for the second one if he is also a replicant who procreated with Rachel. It makes more sense thematically that would be a big deal, that two replicants can, have a child. Right. So that's the only thing that I side on.
I would agree. I think also living in Las Vegas for as long as he did, surrounded by radiation, could also be an obvious point. I think.
Sure.
I think the whole "is he a replicant" question had been long posited before the second movie came out, and I think Blade Runner 2049 might make it a little bit more obvious. Was that a question you had, having only seen the second one?
I only was wondering because I had seen YouTube videos that were like, "Is he a replicant?" or whatever. But it's not something that I like. They don't really address it,
right?
And they don't really make you think about it that much. It that's the thing. Like I said, it makes more sense thematically to me that he would be. So I don't think I really thought about it that much. But yeah, I think it's interesting.
I see.
Because he does, like, he has the unicorn dream, and then at the end of Blade Runner, he picks up a little origami unicorn, and that's supposed to be like a symbol for something. But I don't really know what.
So the guy that makes those origami things, Gaff, there's a theory that he is the originator of Deckard's memories, and that's why he has that unicorn dream. There's also a line at the end where Gaff says, "You've done a man's job," which could be like he's referencing that he's not a man. So there's some information, some evidence there to theorize about.
I forget if is it addressed why, because if Deckard isn't a replicant, why in the first Blade Runner he's a Blade Runner but he's not a replicant, and then they decided to make Blade Runners replicants in the second one? Is that addressed?
I don't know. I think it may just be that when Wallace took over, he kind of really added to the whole memory idea and made replicants a lot more agreeable. And so once they were legal, replicants can do all the hard jobs that are risks to human life.
Sure.
And so he can go out and take out the old ones.
Yeah.
So that would just be my understanding.
Yeah. And we didn't really talk about Ana de Armas, her character in 2049, but she plays
Joy.
Wallace, his company, has developed like intelligent hologram programs that can do nasty things and like basically be companions. And she kind of has another perspective of like, she doesn't have a physical body, but she feels the same things that, she feels emotion. She feels love toward Kay and that sort of thing. And so she wants to be human also. And so that's another really interesting, part of the movie. I like her character a lot. And then she dies, which is sad.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
She also is really excited at the prospect that Kay might be a real person. And she really hypes him up and tries to get him to investigate that and find that out. She starts calling him Joe in an effort to make him more human, feel more human than having a letter for a name. And you could theorize that she understands as a like AI created by Wallace. She has like a bit of the artist in her work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe subconsciously she's trying to get him to divulge secrets to her.
Sure.
About that, maybe. She also is like very, very excited anytime he considers buying something from Wallace, which is like an obvious like, hey, I want this thing. You want this thing. Go buy this thing, right?
Yeah.
Because she's designed to be attractive to the person that owns her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you see that in the when he's like sad later in the movie, he's like got beat up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not the baby child. I'm just like everyone else." He finds an advertisement for Joy, and she like talks to him and calls him a good Joe, which is like, oh, sad. This other fake Joy also called me Joe, like it's not real. Blah blah blah. So that's like a bummer. I don't know where her character really stands. It's complicated because there's so many things that show me that she's not actually like in love with him or cares about him. It's all just designed to be the way it is.
Yeah.
But I
never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
I never got that vibe because she tells him like her emotional like moment in the movie is like when she's about to die and she like rushes to tell him that she loves him right before she gets stomped.
True.
So I don't. It seemed real to me, man. But
it was real to me.
It is real.
I mean, obviously, you can interpret art any way you want. That's part of the fun. Right. So,
except if you interpret it the wrong way.
Oh yeah. So, well, then you're wrong. You fool.
Yeah. Would you like to hear some negative?
Yeah,
reviews?
give me some reviews. Let's do it big.
So you're just gonna have to guess which Blade Runner I'm talking about. All right. Okay.
I'm terrible at this, guys.
Oh no. Let me pause.
But I got a good feeling about this one.
Yeah, these aren't gonna be too bad. A lot of people said the same things. Yeah, most of the negative reviews are just saying that this movie is boring. Ugh.
Yeah.
So, 1-star review from Gracie. Lots of E's.
Gracie.
This movie was like if Star Wars was really boring and not good.
Dang.
Which one is that?
We're gonna say number 2.
Could be either.
Blade Runner 2049.
You're off to a terrible start in this Blade Runner.
Dude, it's a 50-50. How can
I know.
Watch, I get every single one wrong.
1-star review. I found it emotionally dead, and if I'm being honest, I don't trust those who say they felt anything other than boredom watching this. We're not even trustworthy to Guillermo.
That's the first one.
No, it's the second one. See, no, I didn't
think you would like, trick me.
I'm trying to like see how many I can get you to guess wrong. No. See, now do you think which one am I going to do now? Am I going to go back to the...
Is it a triple bluff?
Am I a double, triple agent?
Whoa.
Excuse my language, moms. This is some Mickey Mouse and space bullshit. I was like, what?
What?
Mickey Mouse?
That doesn't even make any sense. Blade Runner 2049.
There you go. His first right answer. It's so Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, wow. that one is. If either of them are Mickey Mouse, it's the second one.
It's that one. So funny. I understand why people like it for the cinematography and the synth music. Bullet point. Other than that, it was dreadful.
Blade Runner 2049.
Nope, first one.
What? The first one doesn't even look good.
No, it looks really bad for a lot of it. Especially the VFX shots. Some of the interior shots have some really nice lighting. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I was like, yikes.
I do like lighting. There's some like Adobe Premiere Pro slow motion in it at the end.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. I thought it might tell a boring story in a brilliant way. Instead, it tells a brilliant story in a boring way.
So true.
Which one is that? Yeah.
Either or. It could be both of them.
Which one?
It's the first one.
It is the first one, but you're wrong. It's the second one.
What? It's like a USB. I get it wrong no matter which way I put it in.
Yeah. The women are either prostitutes, holographic housewives, or they die brutal deaths that we are forced to watch in horrifying detail. Enough said, he says.
Probably the second one.
Yeah, it's the second
There's
one.
no holographs.
It's so sexist, this movie. Fell asleep. Also, what was that kissing scene?
The first one.
Yeah, it's the first one. What was that kissing
Yikes.
scene? What were they thinking? I know most of you aren't actually going to watch Blade Runner. So what happens is Harrison Ford goes to Rachel, or Rachel's in his house, and he wants to, kiss and stuff. And she's not having it. And so he goes over there, and he shoves her against the wall. He takes her by the collar, and he shoves her against the wall. And what does he do? He goes, he's like...
He literally forces his lips on hers first.
He forces his lips on hers, and then he goes, kiss me. And then, no, he says, ask me to kiss you or something.
Yeah.
He says, say kiss me. And then she's like, kiss me. He's like, okay. And then it's really gross.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It's not even a
Terrible,
good looking
terrible,
kiss.
terrible.
It's pretty gross.
No. I've been forced to
not
watch
that
this
would make
film.
that okay.
Yeah.
Let me just say, not that would be any better.
At least look like you're having fun, right?
Yeah. No.
Just kidding.
No.
That's bad. I take it back. I have been forced to watch this film so many times, the mere sight of Harrison Ford turns my stomach.
The second one.
It's the first one.
Harrison Ford's so... Never mind. It doesn't matter.
Sexy. No, he's not. Oh boy. Has anyone involved with this movie ever met a woman?
Ayo. It's the second one.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Last one.
Tell me.
Last one. Nothing interesting happens except when one robot cartwheels to her death. Sorry.
The first one.
Yeah, she really does.
She actually
does a bunch
does.
of cartwheels.
She's
and then
like
she gets
winning the
shot.
fight so hard, and then she walks away and gives the guy with the gun a chance to shoot her.
She walks so far away to wind up and do a cartwheel, and then she dies.
She is not Carmen from Spy Kids.
Oh, what a reference, guys. What a reference.
In Spy Kids 2,
Oh, boy.
Wrath
Here
of
we go.
Khan, there's a moment
Search for Spock.
when the president shows up
3D.
and his daughter is there and she danced with Junie and they're all like on top of
Junie.
this rock and
Yeah.
they're like the daughter's there and all the guards are like walking on this rock and one of them slips and falls a little and it's like obviously a mistake and they didn't use a different cut because like they didn't notice in
It's
the
Spy
original
Kids.
take and he
Yeah.
just like falls and it's like oh
I love it.
it
Spy
makes me laugh
Kids.
every time. Spy Kids 2, guys. What a
some weird
freaking
movies.
film.
Did you see all of the comments or the tweets that they watched the Ant-Man Quantumania trailer and they were like, guys, this is Spy Kids 3D.
Yeah.
This looks exactly like
Spy Kids 3D Game Over is the
Yeah.
full title.
Pretty good. Pretty good
That movie
stuff.
is fire. All of the Spy Kids
He goes-
movies are bangers.
And it's 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Bop, bop, bop. One
Dude,
of those ping pong paddles with the rubber band and he goes bop, bop, bop to the screen.
Isn't that
Anyway,
in Monsters vs. Aliens?
it is also in that, yeah.
Talk about a good movie.
Talk about a movie.
That's
Yeah.
a freaking banger.
Susan.
Right now.
Anyway. I don't... Do you have any recommendations while I think if I have
Black Panther Wakanda Forever, guys.
any? Oh, yeah.
Go see it.
Why
it's
is
out,
that?
It's out today.
Sure.
We're going to be talking about it next week because we are prompt and ready and raring
That's
to
right,
engage
baby.
in the new and we are going to go see it this weekend, so you should go see it this weekend. Hype it up. Sounds like it's pretty good, which is exciting.
Pretty good.
So let's go watch it and do it and make it and be it and do it big. Make a podcast about it. We'll listen to it. And,
our own podcast?
We will make a podcast.
Yeah.
You go make a podcast.
Oh.
And we'll listen to that too.
Yeah, big guy.
Jordan also wants to recommend For All Mankind, which is a show he is continuing to watch, ?
I haven't watched any of it since I got home from vacation.
Dude, this guy says he talks a big game, but in reality Jordan doesn't actually.
Their pilot episodes. Their pilot episodes haven't been good. Like they did not. Well, that's not true. The pilot episode.
That's not true. The pilot episode 2
has the radiation, awesome. And then the second episode is like, so boring.
I don't remember that. I'm on the edge of my seat every second of that show.
It's really good when I am forced to sit in a car for 15 hours.
You're not selling it. I look like a crazy person when I talk about the show now because you're like not also insane about it.
Yeah,
I don't get it. We have almost the same taste,
to be there,
and
I want to be there with you.
It's so good.
I understand. I understand why you love it. And I like it the first season. But I can't see myself watching it again because it's so long. It's so long. And there are episodes that are just like
Andor is also an hour.
Yeah, but like I said last week, every episode is a freaking banger. There's literally no dull moments.
Well, I find no dull moments in For All Mankind.
Yeah, I'm not saying you need to change your mind. I'm just saying this is why I'm not going to watch it again, probably. I'll finish it someday if I have, in
100 years.
72 hours to watch.
Can't swim, guys.
I wish I was more excited
feeling right now. Can't swim.
Can't swim. Oh, I see why you said that. I was like, what? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. He can't swim. He had some good lines in his... do you think he's dead? Do you think he died?
Yeah.
Did he jump or did he stay? That's what I'm asking.
Well, either he stayed and was killed, or he jumped and drowned.
I was like, I feel like if he jumped, he could make it.
They had to swim a long way.
Yeah, they did. And it looked like they had some.
It looked like only 2 of them made it.
For people. Yeah, him and I saw on Twitter like the character named Melshi. They were like, guys, it's so cool that they put this character from Rogue One in this show, and I was like, what?
You didn't notice?
I literally had zero idea he was in Rogue One. I haven't seen him in a while.
He has a goatee and wears a hat, so you don't really see his face as well.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he's on Scarif. He's in the background. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It changes nothing for me.
True.
Nothing for me at all.
But it's cool.
It is cool.
That's one of those, kind of fan service. It's one of those things that I think what's his name? Dave Gilroy? Ryan?
Tony Gilroy.
Tony Gilroy.
Dave Ryan Tony. Yeah.
Whatever. It's 4 letters. He's talked about how he doesn't want the show to be like nostalgia bait and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But this is one of those things where, like you said, it doesn't add anything to people who don't know, but for people who do, it's cool, right?
Sure.
And it won't take away from people who don't know either.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just like a fun little thing.
It's not distracting. It's not game-changing. It's just there. So. You think we'll see Mr. Ben Mendelsohn as Orson Krennic being like, I'm building the Death Star.
Yeah. I think that would be fun. I like Ben Mendelsohn a lot.
I did see a cool theory that because there was some theories going around that like in the prison they're building this thing, and there was a theory that they're actually not building anything, like it's just to keep them busy or whatever. Mm-hmm. But Tony Gilroy was like, no, it is actually really important what they're building, which could still mean like it's important because they're not building anything.
Right.
But there was a theory that I read that was like maybe they're manufacturing stuff for the Death Star.
I'm pretty sure like cool. It's the Death Star gun or something.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. It'd be neat.
Yeah.
It'd be neat.
It'd be neat.
Although it's like it's not even a big deal. It'll just be like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Although the Death Star should be pretty close to finished already, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's true.
I don't know.
But it's a big station, man. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's no moon, but it's a space station.
You're right. You're right about that.
The size of a moon. Yeah.
You're telling me.
Anyway.
So I'm excited for the Andor finale with all the Force and the Jedi and the lightsabers.
That would be awesome.
And Harrison Ford's going to show up, and it's going to be great. No, they're not going to do that. That would be so lame.
Jyn Erso.
Can you imagine? What?
Like...
Okay. If you woke up next week and they were like, here's the new episode of Andor, and it's the absolute worst possible ending to the show. What is it that
I have a real fear of this happening. I think the only thing that would ruin it for me is if they brought in a bunch of like, here's Orson Krennic, here's K2SO, here's Jyn Erso, here's the pilot guy, here's the Force is with me and I'm one with the Force guy. If they like bring all of them together and they're like, oh, whatever, I'd be like, okay, guys, that's not gonna happen. But
you don't think so?
Well,
they don't even know each other before Rogue One.
No,
so.
But like everybody passes each other in the hallway unknowingly. Like I would be like,
there they are.
That's the movie.
That's the guy from
the
movie.
At the end of the show, he goes, "I'm gonna go be a Rogue One."
Yeah. I'm gonna go be a Rogue One.
They are.
It's Andor
I think
time.
It is. Anyway, we don't need to talk more about Andor. This is. We can just like slowly fade out the audio as we ramble about Andor.